Hello, everybody. Thanks so much, Kimari, for a wonderful introduction. Now, how many brides do we have in the house today? Put up your hand. Put up your hand, put up your hand, put up your hand, put up your hand. Okay, you might just win a prize, okay? So put up your hand. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. So, I'm sure we all came to the expo because we want to find out what's new in the market, what we should do with our weddings. We don't want our wedding to look like what happened last year, okay? So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a trends chat, and we're going to discuss what's trending in decor, what's trending in the planning, and what's trending in color and stationery. So I'd like you to show some love to a wonderful panel of experts that I adore. I have worked with them for years. And you promise to show them some love? Yeah? So first off, the first lady I'd like to introduce you to loves designing. When she's eating, she's drawing. When she's not driving, she's drawing. She loves sketching. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Kanyi Ohawa from All and Sundry. Come on. Yeah, that's her. All right, thank you. Next person, this lady, she's so divine. She just loves all things weddings, all things, the planning, the decor. She's been in the business for 7 years. And ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Shiro from Magnolia. I thought you said you're a dancer. Okay, now we're going to have the most quiet decorator I have ever seen and talked to. But she's really good at what she does. And ladies and gentlemen, she does not like linen. So if you're that kind of bride who doesn't like tablecloths, that's the person for you. Let's give it up for Patricia from Party Lounge. All right, next up, she may be the youngest of us all, but she's very, very passionate about what she does, and she loves dancing. So let's give it up for Sylvia from Purple Tulip. Are you saying? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go straight to it. I've introduced you to this wonderful panel of experts. Amongst us 5, we have 50 years of experience. So whatever you hear today, this is something you want to write down and take home with you if you want your wedding to be up to date. So ladies, let's start by saying, why are trends important? What are the trends this year? Okay, I'll start with Shiro.
Yeah. Good morning.
Afternoon. It's afternoon.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Trends are important because they keep you current. They keep you. They keep your wedding looking fresh, and they don't always have to cost money, but they give you that leading edge. Yeah.
Yes, and also just offer a bit of guidance in terms of what's currently happening. So I'd say guidance. Yes.
Sorry, we have to work with the microphones we have here. So let's talk about the color. Okay? You walk around, you see many people using color, but there's actually a particular color that people are going towards. There's the Pantone color of the year. Shiro, you want to tell us more about that?
So I don't know whether you all know what the Pantone color of the year is.
Anyone? Anyone?
Anyone know?
Anyone want to try?
It's not pink.
Who was that? Louder, louder.
You're correct. Give her a round of applause. Yay. It's a shade of purple called ultraviolet. And we expect that we will see it a lot in our wedding stationery, in the things that we do for weddings, fashion. You will see it basically everywhere. So ultraviolet, look it up, see whether it works for you, see whether there are tones of it that you might want to use together with your other color palette. There are ways that you can use it, that you can combine it even with other colors.
So tell me, now that you've said ultraviolet, we don't want everyone to just say, let's just do purple. Let's just do purple. So what would you advise our brides to do in regards to the color? Like, how do we make it work?
So just because it's the Pantone color of the year doesn't mean that it works for everybody. You don't have to use it. However, if purple is a color that resonates with you, there's so many ways of using it. There are literally hundreds of thousands of shades of color that you can, of purple, of tones of the same color that you can work with. You can actually have 3 different tones that you're working with of the same color. Ultraviolet, it's a Pantone color, which means from 10% to 100%. Those are different tones that you can work with. You can have a hint of it. You can use it as a solid. You can have it as an accent. There are very, very many ways of working with it.
Ooh, we're having some.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to go to Shiro. Talk to us about, in terms of planning, what are we hoping to see this year? Are we still dealing with big numbers? How do we implement the trend? Does it mean we have to apply just because it's a trend? Must we do it? You know, what's your take on that?
So what we are finding as a new trend for the overall wedding experience is giving people something flavorful. So we've talked about the color, but on top of the color, what else do people walk away from the event with? Like let's say the music you're playing. You see a lot of live bands coming in, in lieu of just a DJ, but we love our DJs for the final end. You'll find orchestras, and not always in the same pattern that you're used to. You would see, like, for instance, a choir in the reception helping with the cake cutting, you know what I mean? So something completely different for the experience to create the trend, yeah?
Yeah? No, but I want you to talk about that one thing you said that was different. If we had somebody coming, a group of people coming to dance.
Yes. So, yeah. So,
yeah.
So like, in our Kenyan trend weddings, and more so the black wedding, there's this, we always welcome the brides in a particular way across the country, which is the mamas, you know, and we love it, yeah?
Mogithi,
yes. But what about if ballet dancers walked them in, or a particular, you know, something different? So we are looking for trend in bringing a different experience, so that when you walk away from that wedding, you're like, wow, now that is something new, yeah?
All right, let's look at Patricia. You don't like linen, and that's how your business was born. Tell us, what are the in things that are coming in 2018 in terms of deco? I know we have a few props up here. Maybe you can talk about them. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you've seen. Sorry. I think you've seen a lot of mirrors. People appreciating to see themselves back as they dine. I don't know. Probably people like seeing themselves eating. We also have a lot of wood that's coming back. I'm glad to say that Africa is now reinventing itself. We've left so much beauty on our continent by looking for so many things abroad, but now people are appreciating naked wood, a lot of nakedness, and there's a lot of greenery as well because we are surrounded by forests. So it's good to now to try and put everything that we have naturally together to make very awesome weddings.
Okay, talk to us about this.
Okay, so here we have wood, just sticks that are making very beautiful centerpieces. So it's just what I was talking about, the wood. And we have, that bottle has like a very old twig with some greenery at the bottom and,
okay.
What do you call that?
A ladybird?
A ladybird.
Yeah. Didn't we say it's like this year we're doing a lot of natural elements? Yeah? So we're seeing people, if the weather is right, we're seeing people actually preferring to do their wedding without tents. Yeah. So where will they do it? They'll do it in a place with a good number of trees, you know, very many trees, or under the stars. So this is nature at its best in a bottle.
Yeah, people are really trying to replicate nature. And just
wow, it lights up.
Yeah, it lights up as well. And then for the natural lighting,
yep.
they also appreciate the candles.
Yes.
which give a very good ambience and they're fragranced and everything. And then we have the geometric shapes that make also very good centerpieces. There's this thing about just having very many miniature pieces to give every guest an experience, not just in the middle of the table, but have small pieces that every guest has the same experience, feeling what you're trying to be as a bride. Because I think the decor that the bride chooses represents her a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. I found that very interesting.
Yeah, these succulents, which I think are also very trendy. So if you check, because even your guests can take succulents back home, which is something you can actually do as a DIY. You can start growing your succulents now, put them in a nice package, and you can have them as
So can this be used as a
giveaways.
favor?
Yeah, it can be used as a favor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to us about flower walls. What's happening?
Yeah, so I think the flower wall trend has been there, I think for the past 2 years, and it's continued to grow with time. There's just to touch on what Patricia said, there's now the aspect of people are moving away from a lot of flowers to more greenery and things like that. However, then again, it still goes back to an individual's preference, So as much as there's a whole nature rustic, trend that is coming in, there's still some people who like the modern sort of like elegant, quaint kind of look and feel. So it's not that, as much as it's a trend, it also helps if you as an individual, if you're into flowers, and there's greenery, then you can still go ahead and do that. Yeah.
So it doesn't. It means that we can work with the 2018 trends to make it our own.
Exactly, and that is very important because just as Shiro said, when your guests walk into your wedding, it will be good for your setup, the experience, the food, to sort of like reflect your personality as a bride and groom. So the kind of music that you like, just the way you are as an individual, it should be able to be reflected, in your wedding setup and experiences.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as we talk about flowers, don't you want to appreciate Prima Flora for the wonderful flower we're seeing up on stage? And what I want, that's not love at all. Let's give them a hand, okay? But what I want to draw your attention to is if you love flowers, okay, and you hear that greenery is in, as Sylvia said, I call her Sly, I'm sorry. As Sylvia said, you don't necessarily have to do away with your flowers. Just look at this wonderful backdrop right behind us, okay? There's the flowers all around. But what really makes it pop is this lovely greenery within it. So it's the amount of, you can play with potions of it. So I want to come back to you. Cards, stationery. What's in, what's not, what's out? Are we still laser cutting ourselves away?
So laser cutting is still very in this market. We've seen a lot of laser cut cards. What we've also seen is individual laser cut designs. So that's very big at the moment. We are also seeing a trend towards more classic designs. There was a time when we used to do cards that had everything but the kitchen sink in them. The ribbon and the glitters and the pearls and everything. But now people are becoming a bit more minimalistic. People are more interested in classic, timeless designs for their stationery. And then you'll have that little pop of color in your stationery. That's another trend that we're really seeing. So for instance, if your colors are, let's say, navy blue, coral, and maybe a touch of silver, you'll notice that the cards might be either white with an accent of the navy blue and the coral on them. So the cards are very timeless. Enveloped cards are still in, self-sealed jackets, pocket cards still in. There's a lot of there's a direction that people are moving towards more. People want their personalities reflected in their stationery, which makes sense because the first thing that people will see of your wedding is actually your wedding invitation.
Absolutely.
So people always want to see a touch of your personality shining through. How do you do that? That would be in, maybe you as a couple are considered more laid back, so your card would be an easier design. It would be laid back, or you're more of a formal, reserved type of couple, black tie, that kind of thing, that should be reflected in your stationery also, so that people have a hint of what to expect during your wedding day.
Okay, so in regards to cards again, there's a lot of storytelling that is coming. Like if the couple met, I don't know, in Kakamega, then you see a skyline of Kakamega. Or if they met at Java, you know, you'll see graphics of Java,
Yes.
coffee on it. Tell us more about that.
So we've also done quite a bit of that. We've seen that quite a bit, actually, for a little while now, where if you have a couple that met, let's say maybe they met in Dubai, so you'll have the storyline. It could be either in words or poem format, or even illustrations. We've seen cards where you have the illustration, you can see, you know, the Burj Khalifa, and you can see KICC right next to it. It kind of forms a story, and then that way you involve your guests in the story of your life and love.
Okay, so let's look again at the whole wedding experience, right? For the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of over-the-top deco. I mean, you walk in and you're like, am I in Kenya? You know, bling from everywhere, you know? But we're seeing things changing. We're seeing less is becoming more, and it's more about understated elegance. We're not trying too much. Maybe, Shiro, you can talk about that? Yeah, it's all right. You can go in. You want to give it a go on?
I think also there's just the aspect of minimalisticness, you know, even how we dress nowadays, you know, people are like black, white, you know, and then a pop of color. Yes, just to add on to what Kanyi had said earlier in regards to using more of florals and adding graphics to your decor. So you have, like, you know, instead of having a full backdrop flower wall, you could have, you know, just something like this with your initials and things like that. So just trying to keep it minimal, but still, you know, still classy and tasteful. Yeah.
Okay. I know we've said ultraviolet, shades of purple, as she said, 10% all the way to 100% of the trends of the year. But what colors did we see last year that might still trickle in?
Blush
Is still there. Look at the carpet right here. I mean, yeah.
So there's still the aspect of blush pink and gold. White is still there, you know, so it's still holding strong. So yeah, maybe those are the two main colors that I think will trickle into this year.
Shiro, what kind of themes would you use wooden elements in? How would you make it chic? How, if someone has, you know, what would you do and advise as a wedding planner?
So one of the areas that you'd want to use the wood is if you're in a banquet room and you want to bring the outdoors indoors. Yes. So you'd bring the naked table, which is now trending quite heavily, where you do a beautiful top. You know, okay, before we'd cover them because maybe they're not in very good condition, but now the tables are in really fantastic conditions. So instead of dressing it with fantastic tablecloths, maybe just put a runner or lace and then just leave it naked. So this is when you'd pull in such elements to also showcase the beauty of the furniture. And as she said, you're trying to host your guests as if they are in your living room.
Yeah.
But
Intimate, right?
It's an intimate thing. So it's not very copy and paste generic template for weddings. We're trying to make it that, or the trend is try and own your wedding so that when you look back, it's you, not trying to see what was done and trying to put yourself in it. Personalize it to your touch and your fiance's touch.
All right. So if you want to know and see how the wooden elements look like and the natural other elements like the greenery, we have wonderful... Please, you didn't talk to us about the hedges. I think. Just say it again. Please, we are at the Trends Room. If you want to know what's trending and what you should incorporate this year, please go into the Trends Room that has been done by Patricia of Party Lounges and have a look at the table. What I found interesting was 2 years ago, was it 2 years, 1 year, I had a bride who wanted all foam chairs. You know those foam chairs used to have in the church back in the day, no back and wooden. And I thought, why would you want to do that? And they're Shiavari chairs and all that. But this is something, to my shock, I didn't know people would appreciate. So when you walk into that room, you'll get to see wooden forms, you'll get to see the wooden tables, yeah, and all that. Tell us about, now, Kenya is not a donut nation. When we look to trends, we always go international. And by the way, all these trends we are talking about right now, if you look at international, what has been said by the international planners and designers, you'll find that they're saying the same thing. But one thing I didn't think that we would be having in Kenya right now is geometric shapes. I actually thought I wouldn't talk about that, but to see you having brought them in, I think that says a lot for you. So I'd like you to share with us, like, what would you do with that geometric shape?
Well, like Sylvia said, less is more.
Okay.
Because most of us hated math, and now this is an opportunity for us to interact with math in a very pleasant way. So, and then these things come in very different shapes. So we can have big ones and small ones, and then have a very small, like a rose head that speaks a lot. So, but seeing is believing. We have everything showcased for you in the trends room, so we hope you can come and interact with everything.
All right, what do we want to see our brides doing this year? Shiro, I know you have a lot to say about that. You talked, first before you go to that, you talked about experience. How can we give our guests an experience?
Okay. We can give our guests an experience by owning your wedding. Don't be afraid to create a mood board of what you love and seeing what repeats and making it your wedding. Research a little bit more, because, okay, I'll just divert a bit. I have a bride who loves purple, but you're not going to do purple hair, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So study your mood board, put it together so that, I keep saying, your great-grandchildren are looking at the photos, they'll be like, whoa, look at Shosh, man, they were so on point, right? So keep it less, keep it fresh, and own it. Put your story in it. Don't see an event that happened and you loved and take that and take that. No. Just own it, personalize it, and then give people an experience. Yeah.
Right, because I have a couple whose wedding I'm planning in a few months, and they are all about farming. So what we're going to do is we're going to take up those trends that are more, you know, what you find in a farm, haystacks, the actual machinery, and use it for that particular wedding. We'll make it interesting, right? Does anyone, let's talk about this. A lot of us, how many? We are 5, okay? But there's so many other suppliers out there who provide deco. What we're seeing brides doing, and I'll be the black sheep here, is they go to the internet, they check out different designs and take pictures or copy, and then they'll send it to Sylvia from Purple Tulips and say, can you do this? And we were saying, no, I mean, things have to change. Why were we saying that? Yeah, oh, time is up, almost, yeah. Let's answer that. That really threw us off. Right, we have a lot of brides who are going and saying, oh, I saw, you know, a particular designer, they take the picture, I want that. Like copy, paste.
Yeah. Just what Shiro said, it really helps when, you know, you put your own personal touch to a setup, you know. Put in a bit of research, you know, just go onto Pinterest and see, you know, what is there, you know. This whole mentality of copying, you know, or picking up something from one vendor and expecting another vendor to execute it, you know, that is actually someone's creation and design, you know. So it helps when you're like, okay, I really like the look of this, but what can you do for me within the same regard, but is still in line with, you know, my personality, my taste, and also the vendor themselves, you know, because different vendors have different styles and tastes.
Exactly.
So for example, if whatever is maybe subtle to me might not be subtle to Patricia, and vice versa, you know. So it really helps when one, either come up with your own or just have a visual as a form of guidance, but not a form of, I want exactly like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a sort of inspiration. Like, use this picture, but I'd like something close to this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been awesome talking to you about the trends. Thank you for paying attention, not using your phones. Clap for yourselves, right? I'll be back in the evening with a different panel. If you want to know what's in about makeup, Please stay for the 4:30 show. We'll be back tomorrow with gowns, and we'll be back with these wonderful ladies. Deco is so broad. We can't finish it all. So thank you so much for your time. DJ, can you usher us out? Thank you. La, 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 la.